Hello and welcome to this final session on the 6 myths of field force planning. In this session we're going to look at the idea that significant return on investment can only be delivered for field sales teams and companies in crisis. There's the kind of belief that radical restructure is only really applicable for companies that are in some kind of difficulty. When we were looking at return on investment during the original webinar session, there was a question asked about what return on investment would be considered to be significant. Most of the attendees went for 2-to-1 return or a 5-to-1 return to be significant. In terms of this idea of field force planning being relevant in a crisis, we need to really think about what is a crisis. I mean, the definition is that it's a crucial or decisive point or situation or a turning point. And the reality is in sales, we see these kind of things on a very regular basis. So in terms of crisis situations that we might see in the sales function, it might be that our sales figures are not so good as we'd like them to be. It might be that we want to increase market share or defend market share. It may be that we have lost some staff and maybe want to replace them in the most efficient way. It may be that we merge with another company, and how do we do that in the best manner, given that we probably share customers and then have a combined team to put into a single new sales force. We might be launching a new product and want to ensure we get the best return on this investment. How do we best launch this product into the marketplace and focus our activities? It may be legislation such as tobacco legislation that means now our sales force has to have a different function and means now we'll have different activities out in the field and require a different way of operating. It may be that we've won some new customers and we need to change our structure to absorb those customers and maybe increase headcount perhaps. Or it could be a new business model. So the idea of a supermarket not allowing salespeople in anymore may require us to make decisions and make changes. Or it may be we decide to go from having multiple sales forces calling on different companies to having a single sales force calling on our customers, or vice versa. The reality is we wouldn't necessarily call these things crises. We would just probably refer to it as change. And really, there are different ways we can approach change. We can fear it, try and avoid it, react to it late, or we can actually try and embrace it and take advantage of it. The thing is, some people will say, well, actually my sales force is running fine at the moment. Why do I need to do anything about it? Well, maybe because it could be better. Maybe sales figures could be higher. Costs could be lower. Isn't that something we would strive for? There's probably a belief that reorganisations are this horrible exercise that people have to go through that take ages and are extremely political. But with software such as CACIs, reorganisations can be very quick, very objective, and achieve a step change very, very quickly. Sometimes it's best to actually take change in small steps as well. So as we get a small change, we can react to it and change as necessary, rather than building up many changes and trying to respond to it as one with some huge radical reaction, which maybe is difficult to achieve. And as we've just seen from this point, change is all around us in the sales function. So why don't we try and take advantage of it when it happens, rather than responding when we really are in trouble? As we've said, sales figures can appear to be good, but if we achieve higher call rates each and every day, they could be even better. And the trouble is, sometimes sales figures that are good hide the fact that maybe we were operating with higher headcount than we need to, and our mileage fees are way higher than they need to be. We can get away with this when sales figures are good, but maybe when sales figures dip, these fat operations will come back to haunt us. So the idea is why don't we make change? Why don't we embrace it when times appear to be good and make sure that we are in the best shape that we can be, so that if bad times do happen, we're in the best place to deal with them. So this idea that we can create a lean, highly efficient sales operation that when times are good will deliver us the highest profits, and while time is bad will mean it can shield us from these difficult times. When we're talking about significant return on investment, as mentioned before, figures of 2 to 1 and 5 to 1 were suggested as being significant. In an earlier session, we were talking about a sales team that's inefficient of 40 that could actually be carried out by a team that's efficient of 36, so we can make a significant headcount saving there. We'll also be reducing the mileage as well by 25% by using our systems, with again a very significant potential mileage reduction saving. So in terms of these savings, both in terms of headcount and fuel, when these are added together against the cost of such a system, we're talking about a huge return on investment of 10 to 1, which is surely worth having. There are other benefits in terms of potential increase in sales for all those extra calls, the reduction in planning time that we haven't even factored in here. So this is a conservative estimate. So our reality is that a significant return on investment can be achieved with any company that has a field sales team, obviously apart from those that work with CACI already. So over the course of these 6 webinars, we have looked at getting a number of things right that can deliver significant improvement in field force efficiency and results. Reducing mileage and travelling time by 25%. A similar reduction in CO2 emissions can help us in those environmental issues. By turning that travelling time into calling, we can increase call rates by 10%. Automated planning systems can reduce the planning time by 70%. And from that idea of getting balanced territories, it gives us the opportunity to increase sales by up to 7%. So what we can achieve is to sell more at less cost, which is surely everyone in sales management's desire. And what we can ensure is that we put the force back into your field force. So in terms of these myths, it leads us to a number of conclusions. Firstly, that effectiveness on its own is nothing. We need efficiency as well to really harness those increases in effectiveness. Having the right tools in place means that sales managers can really sort out and get the maximum efficiency from their territory structures. It doesn't mean that all relationships have to be sacrificed. Those very important ones can be maintained while still achieving efficiency. Sales reps no longer have to plan their own journeys, which is laborious and inefficient. Again, with the right tools in place, they can be out on the road, hitting higher call rates with lower fuel rates. CRM and field force planning are complementary. Working together, they can achieve efficiency and effectiveness to improve both the quantity and quality of calls. And field force planning can deliver highly significant returns on investment for field forces of all size. There is one myth that we can't get rid of though, and that is that achieving higher sales at lower cost from a field sales team is possible. This is not a myth. If you'd like to find out how we can help you deliver more from your field sales team, please contact us below and we will be happy to discuss your requirements. Thank you for listening.